Yeah, hi. Hello. Hello, Neha. Am I audible? Okay. Very good evening to one and all. So, thank you for taking time out and joining this session. I hope each one of you is able to take home something from here. I'm here to discuss obesity, overweight, the myths that surround it, how do you get rid of this problem, etc. So, what is obesity? Obesity is a complex disease involving an excessive amount of body fat. So, it is a medical problem which predisposes you to a lot of conditions like cardiac diseases, um, hormonal imbalances, like cancers, infertility, hypertension, diabetes, etc. Say that one is obese or one is overweight? When do you start feeling that, I have put on weight other than what you look? So, generally what happens is when you start walking, you walk for 5 minutes and you feel like panting, you feel heavy during the day, you feel lethargic, you feel sleepy all the time, you feel sluggish. So these are few symptoms to identify that the fat in your body has, become more. So we must have all heard of something called a body mass index, I'm sure, sometime or the other. So what is body mass index? It is your weight in kilograms divided by your height in meters square. So that gives you a fair idea of what your fat content in the body is all about. Though it is not a very 100% accurate measure, but you get a rough idea of what your fat percent is all about. So why that is important? Why we are not only looking at weight as a parameter? So if you look at bodybuilders, you generally see them having weight which is even beyond 100, or, you know, they weigh anything beyond 100, 200, and so on. So why? Because they have a very high muscle mass, high bone weight. So your body weight is not only comprising of your fat, but it has got muscle and all other tissues that weigh much more than your fat tissue, right? So what we are looking at is fat percent, and we are not looking at the weight alone. Okay, so we are looking at going from fat to fit. So, what are the causes of obesity? So, one is a genetic predisposition. So, your genetics very much, kind of tell you how your fat metabolism is going to be, what is your fat distribution in the body, how is your fat going to be stored in the body, how much of your body energy is going to be converted in the as fat, etc. So your genetics is one of the causes. Then you have some lifestyle choices. So uh, wrong eating habits, sedentary lifestyle, uh, and so many. I don't have to even tell you, you know very well about your genetics, your lifestyle choices, your liquid calories. So nobody counts your liquid calories. So generally, when you sit to eat, there are people who come and sit with huge mugs of cokes, uh, having alcohol before food, having very high calorie drinks. So those are empty calories, they don't even get metabolized. So those liquid calories are also a cause of concern. Other than that, your inactivity, nowadays, thanks to the lockdown, we are all sitting in front of our laptops all the time, whether it's required or not required, it's become a habit. We are all in front of some or the other social media all the time. Then certain diseases and medication. So medications for psychosomatic disorders, for example, may add on to your weight. Then medicines which you take for oral contraception, that can also lead to weight gain. Then social and economic issues. So generally, if you see the high socioeconomic strata, people, they have a lot of availability of food. Food is in plenty. You get out of your house, have food which are, kind of inviting you to have big portions of food. So what the people you spend time with may influence your weight. Then age is also a factor, though you see a lot of childhood obesity these days. There's no onset of obesity. There is no age to onset of obesity, but as you age, your muscle mass depletes. And also, as you age, your hormonal changes and your less active lifestyle increases the risk of obesity. In addition, the lack of sleep, now that is a big factor. There is a hormone called leptin in your body which decides when you feel full. So when you're sleep deprived, this leptin hormone comes down again. Because of less of sleep, your metabolism also becomes sluggish. So this is also a very, very important factor as far as sleep is, as far as obesity is concerned. So you must take sleeping on time, setting your body clock in the right way, so that you don't have these kind of issues. Then stress. Whenever we are stressed, we are anxious, depressed, or anything like that, we always look for very high caloric food. That is something that gives you a little bit of comfort. So that's called the comfort food. So you go to either Cadbury's, chocolate, or you hook on to cheese, or very high caloric food. And previous attempts to lose weight. This is a very big topic. So you have a lot of fad diets in the market. To start with, there was Atkins diet. Then today there is keto diet. There is General Motor diet. You have Dr. Dikshit diet. So though these are formulated by big cardiologists, and somewhere it has failed, one because of the sustainability, and two because of a lot of health hazards. So basically what happens is, when your body is asking for energy, the first source of energy is carbohydrate. So what these diets do is, they either reduce your carbohydrate intake, or they completely stop the carbohydrate intake in the body. Therefore what happens is, your body looks at other sources for energy, like protein or fat. Therefore your fat is getting metabolized. So that is one way to lose weight, but that's not a very efficacious, and it's not a very long lasting way to lose weight. So these are a few things that you can look at obesity from the modern perspective. Now what does Ayurveda has to say about it? Now Ayurveda is a 5,000 year old science. If all of you know about it, it's a very holistic science. And even at that time, you will be shocked to know that obesity existed even then. Okay, it's a very old disease. So, though it was probably not so prevalent, but it was existing even so many years back. So, in Ayurveda, this is described in a chapter called Ashto Ninditya Adhyaya. Ninditya means very difficult to treat people. So, obesity is considered to be a disease which is very difficult to treat. Also, it is a disease which is kaphaja in origin. So, just to kind of run you through what these Ayurvedic terminologies are. So, Ayurveda believes that we are all made of five elements. Not only human beings, the whole universe is made of five elements. So, we have air, we have water, fire, space, and earth. So, these are the five elements we are all made up of. And we have three doshas, or three humors in the body, which is vata, pitta, and kapha. So vata is made up of air and space. So it's the lighter entity, and it brings about movement in the body. So anything that is moving within the body, be it your blood, be it your stimulus that the nerves are passing, maybe the plasma, and so on and so forth. So anything that is moving within the body is brought about by vata. Anything that causes transformation, or metabolic activities are brought by pitta. And kapha is the one which, pitta is made up of fire and water elements, though all the five elements are present in all the three doshas, but these are in excess. Okay, so kapha is made up of water and earth, so that's a more denser kind of humor, and it gives you strength and stability in the body. So vata, pitta, and kapha are the three entities or the three humors. Also, we have seven different tissues in the body. So which is Rasi, Majja, and Shukra. So Meda, today we are talking about disease which originates from the Med Dhatu. Med is nothing but your fat tissue. So what ideally happens is, due to excessive eating of heavy, of cold, of calorically very dense food stuff, the kapha in your body increases, and it obstructs or clogs the strotuses or the channels in your body. Therefore, it causes the fat metabolism to be impaired. Therefore, you put on it. So this is what Ayurveda believes. So how do you, uh, how does Ayurveda think about treating obesity? So one is that we have all heard of something called your biological clock or a circadian rhythm. We have got something called dinacharya in Ayurveda, where you have to follow a specific, you have a specific routine for the day which you have to follow. So getting up early in the morning, eating at a particular time, drinking water at a particular time, and so on and so forth. So you have to follow a proper dinacharya. Then you have got something called a ritucharya, which is a seasonal regimen. So it talks about a lot of eating differently as per your seasonal requirements. It's not just eating low carbs, or we are talking about a more balanced kind of a diet, and we are talking about more diet which is more close to the nature, right? So all of you will agree with me that we start our day with processed food. You have plenty of process. Anything that comes out of a packet is a processed food. Now what happens is, in earlier days, when we were probably a little more close to nature, you used to use unpolished rice. In fact, I know of people in the olden days who have had rice even with the husks. So your body needs that extra energy, or that extra little work that has to be done to metabolize all that within them. Now what happens is, we are given straight polished rice. So this is not only high in glycemic index, it also requires very little loss of energy. Therefore, there is a lot of fat accumulation. So anything that you eat, okay, if it is in excess than what you spend, it your body knows to store it as fat. We have got natural fat pockets in your body. So generally around your stomach, that is your abdomen, your waist, your hips. These are the areas which you have the natural fat pockets. Like if you have money, you store it in your pocket, or maybe your wallet, the locker, and things like that. So similarly, your body has a mechanism to store fat. So anything that goes to this fat store, and it remains there. So we have another entity in Ayurveda, which is by the name ama. Ama is the next one. So generally, any food that you eat is either completely digested or is completely expelled out of your body as waste. Now, there are certain, at times, what happens is, the food that you eat is neither digested completely nor thrown out of your body, and it remains in a body in a intermediate state. It's like an uncooked food. So what happens because of these, you can call them as toxins. So because of these toxins, your strotus or your channels get clogged again. So these can be equated to free radicals, which cause diseases. So Ayurveda, it as far as obesity is concerned, or any disease for that matter, the first way of treating is something called nidana parivarjana. Nidana is a causative factor. So you have to avoid the causative factor. Now you know that you're eating wrong and you still keep on eating the wrong things. We can't do anything much about it. So few things as far as diet is concerned. That is one, try and eat food that is low in glycemic index. Therefore, switch over to millets, maybe like you have bajra, you have rajgir. These are all very good millets which can, which can bring, which are very low in glycemic index and which can bring about weight loss. That is one thing. Then eating right, meaning in our Ayurvedic texts, we've been asked to eat twice a day, not even thrice. So, we look at 3 meals in a day: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So, breakfast should be fair enough food. Your lunch should be good. So, see, the lunchtime generally is something called a pitta kala. Pitta Kala is the time in your body when your metabolism is at the highest, or your Agni, your digestive fire, is at the best capacity. Therefore, whatever you eat gets metabolized. So, between 12 to 4 is a time when you can eat. I'm not saying that you overeat, but you can eat right, or you can eat as much as your body asks for. So, that is one thing. Eating early at night, at least 3 hours before you go to sleep. Eating, not eating and eating and eating. So eat only when your body is asking. So eat when you're hungry. Um Also, do not eat absolutely to your full stomach. Allow your stomach to, give some space within your stomach so that it is able to churn your food well. And, you feel relaxed after. You should not eat a meal where after which you can't even get up and stand. So do not eat food like that. One more thing is, do not sleep immediately in the afternoon after you. In fact, in a chapter called Madhumeha or diabetes in Ayurveda, that is a primary reason for diabetes. That is called devaswap. So meaning sleeping in the daytime, in the day hours, especially immediately after lunch. So after lunch, you have to ideally at least walk for, say, around 100 steps, and then you can take a nap for 15 minutes, not sleep very comfortably. So these are a few things, and choosing the right kind of food. As I told you, try and avoid processed food as much as you can. So anything that comes out of a packet is processed. Anything that is sugary, uh, things that are sauces and your Maggies, and and I think you name it today and we are all eating that. Okay, so your burgers, your McDonald's, your KFCs, you should look at more food that is more close to nature. So we have certain herbs that you know so yeah so looking at the treatment part of obesity, so there are things like, as I told you, one is nidana parivarjana, kind of stay away from the causative factor. Two is that shamana chikitsa, meaning suppose you have fat in your body, but the accumulation of fat is not that much that you need to go about very rigorously. So with a little bit of diet modification, a little bit of lifestyle modification, like I always tell my patients that few lifestyle modifications that you can do is, while you're sitting, all of us have a sedentary lifestyle. Again, thanks to the lockdown, we are sitting 14 to 18 hours just in front of our laptop. Make an attempt to get up and stretch your body at least for 2 minutes and sit back. So that will be a good way of doing it. I can't tell you to do anything better than this. So that is one thing. And take stairs as far as possible. Try and uh, if somebody rings your doorbell, try and get up and open. Generally we are looking at someone else to open the door. So that is one thing that you can do also. And one more thing that I would like to add is, uh, not everybody gains and loses weight in the same manner. So many a times we think that, in fact, I'm sure all of us must have faced this in life sometime or the other, that, we feel that, that person is eating so much. Even when I look at food, I put on weight. So each one, therefore, it's very, very important to follow Ayurvedic principles, because Ayurveda doesn't, have one remedy for all. It's an individualized treatment. So everybody has a different constitution. So if he is a Vata Prakriti, which I told you some time back, so a Vata, each one has a personality type. So if you're a Vata Prakriti, generally they lose weight and they hardly gain weight. So generally, if you look at a typical Vata Prakriti patient, they'll always be lean and lanky. So they are the ones who will never gain weight. They come to you for weight gain and not for weight loss. A Pitta Prakriti patient will always, it'll be very easy for him to gain weight, very easy for him to lose weight. So what I'm trying to say is each one has a typical way to lose weight, though the main major principles will be that you avoid the causative factors. There are some herbs, like in Ayurveda we give some amapachana medicines, like your day-to-day spices that you use in the kitchen, like pepper, turmeric has got the active ingredient called curcumin, which is a very good for losing weight. Then you have cinnamon, you have garlic, you have onion, you have jeera, you have your fennel seeds. All these are very good spices that you can use. Similarly, eat less of kapha aggravating food, like your milk and milk products, your heavy to digest food, your cold stuff. Curds are a strict no at night. So these are the things that you can avoid in at the night time, or even otherwise do not have them as a main course. So you can have a little bit of it. Then so yeah, so one more thing is about your emotional factors. So as I told you that when you are anxious, when you are depressed, these are the times when that's the time when you generally go for your cravings and hook on to very, very high caloric food. So that is the time when you should cultivate some kind of a hobby. I keep telling my patients that whatever you like, if you like to read, if you like to play a sport. So it's very, very important to mentally counsel obesity patients also. It's not a very simple fix, like you give a medicine and it gets treated. It's a very complex disease by itself. So you need to chalk out a plan, which is a proper diet plan, which is an individualized diet plan. You have to understand the psyche of the patient, because your mind body connection is also very important. And one more thing that I would like to add here is mindful eating. Nowadays you see not only children, adults, they are always hooked on to their mobile or the TV set or something while they're eating. That is a very wrong way of eating, because while you eat, you have to eat with all your five senses. Only then that food gets properly assimilated in the body. If you're not eating in the right manner, then that doesn't get assimilated and it remains in the body as toxins or ama that I just spoke about. And it clogs your channels and it brings about diseases in the body. Similarly, eating too fast, so what you have these centers in the brain, which is a satiety center, which says that, okay, enough, I'm full. So it is controlled by your nervous system. So if you eat very fast, you're not giving time to your brain center to get activated and telling you that, okay, look, you're full, stop it. So I've seen people who gobble food as if they have to run where I have no idea. So please eat slowly. Do not binge eat. If you have sweet cravings, store. I always tell people that store the right kind of food at home. If you're going to stock your house with all the wrong things, then whenever you feel a little low, you feel like just going and eating, and then you hook on to the wrong kind of food. So some things that you can store is like till seeds, flax seeds. You have your sunflower seeds, which are very, very good to increase your metabolism. uh, Talking about activity, It is a must that everyone does at least 30 minutes of exercise every day. It can be a walk, it can be yoga, which is the best form of exercise. Surya Namaskar is a exercise which involves all the muscles in the body. Therefore, it's also very good to lose weight. Pranayama. See, prana is the vital force in the body. So when you do a pranayama, you are regulating that vital force. So that is also very important. There are certain pranayamas like Bastrika, like Kapalbhati, which also regulate your metabolism. See, here we are talking about regulating the metabolism and thereby causing weight loss and thereby causing sustainable weight loss. We have to see when it is obesity. I've always seen patients having this, as I spoke about the fat diet. They come to me, they tell me, doctor, this I saw this intermittent fasting and I'm doing that. I lost 20 kilos of weight. I keep telling them that I'm sorry, you lost 20 kilos of weight, but you will gain 40 kilos of weight. And they say, no, 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 it's so effective. And after 2 months, they come back to me, and when they step on the weighing scale, they are, as I told them, they are 40 kilos heavier. So this is called yo-yo dieting. When you keep doing this, different fat diets without knowing where you go, because weight loss, as I told you, is not a quick fix. It is, you have to look at weight loss maybe of 1 kilo a week, not more than that. Okay, if you're losing weight more than that, it is a warning signal, because then you're losing your muscle, you're using your lean mass, you're not losing your fat. So initially, when you start dieting, when you start doing certain regimens, initially it's very easy to lose weight, because that is the water weight, the excess of water weight or water retention that is there in the body, that you shed out very soon. After that is when it becomes really, really difficult to lose weight. That is called the plateau phase, where you have changed the diet of the patient. You've told him that you do this, you don't do this, you eat this, you don't eat this, but still he or she is not able to lose weight. So that is a very, very challenging time. If you're able to sustain that plateau phase, then it becomes very, very easy to bring about more weight loss. So again, I want to repeat that weight loss or obesity is a pandemic, which is the number one cause of death globally. So we have to be a little more proactive, especially in the children. At a young age, we have to inculcate very good habits, good eating habits, good lifestyle. Follow the Ayurvedic principles, because it is more holistic. It is a time-tested, principle that is there. And so, yeah, I was talking about Nidana Parivarjana. Then we have something called Shaman Chikitsa, where we have herbs like Trikatu, that is salt, marich, and pipal. Then we have Triphala. These are all good for increasing your metabolism or doing a Amapachana. So it is a Shaman Chikitsa. So we have some medicines like Triphala Gugul. Then we have we have Vidang and Shunti, to name a few. Then we have something called a Shodhan Chikitsa. So, in some people, they come to me and they have tried everything and they are fed up. They say, no, ma'am, I can't do anything. You have to take care. So there is when the challenge is that the ama has built in so much, or the doshas have become so imbalanced, that only by treating and giving oral medicines is not enough. Here we have to take the help of something called a shodhan, or a detoxifying methods. So in Ayurveda, we have Panchakarma, which is Basti, Vivechan, Vaman. So looking at the body type, looking at the hormonal what you call imbalances, we have to chalk panchakarma for that particular patient, so that his channels are open, his toxins are out of the body, there is good detoxification, the metabolism happens properly, and then it's easier for them to of course, see, eating is something. So people come and say that, how many months do I have to follow this diet? So this is not about a 3 month fix or a 6 month. This is something which you have to, it has to go on for a life, right? So I have to give them a diet which is satmya to them. For example, if somebody comes to me who is a rice eater, who's been eating rice thrice in a day, and I fully switch them over to no rice, it is very difficult for them to sustain that diet. They come back, with the, for 2 weeks they'll follow your diet, and then they'll come back and they'll say, no, I'm not able to follow this diet. So you have to maneuver within whatever they have been having. So you give them red rice instead of white rice. Tell them to first change their dinner pattern. Tell them that do not have rice for dinner, have some millet, have at least 3 hours before you go to sleep. So that's how you need to change the idea of eating. You can't give your body a shock treatment, right? And then there are people who eat very low calories. For example, suppose somebody is having a 2000 calorie diet, and suddenly I tell them that, so fine, or I don't tell them, they do it themselves. They say that I will start having a very low calorie diet. So they skip their breakfast, they skip their dinner, probably they have only lunch. So they have, say, 1,000 calorie diet. What happens to your body? Your body is in a state of shock. It is famine struck. For example, I tell you, tomorrow onwards, you're not going to get potatoes in the market. What do? We buy large amount of potatoes and store it in our house, right? Similarly, your body starts storing fat. After that, whatever you eat, even that 1,000 calories gets stored in your body as fat. So please, people, uh, don't have quick fixes for weight loss. Go to a proper physician. Let him or her understand your body, your constitution, and give you a personalized diet. Don't go on to medicines for everything. Change your lifestyle, change your diet pattern, be close to nature. uh, be more in the open. I know now it is because of the pandemic, we are not going out too much, but otherwise, try to inculcate, good habits like walking down the stairs, up the stairs, walking till you're parking your car a little, farther than your workplace, and things like that, which gives in some activity to your body. So I think with this, I would like to conclude my session. Any questions? Hello? Okay. What are the strict no's in a diet? Okay. So the strict no's would be definitely empty calories, that is, as I told you, liquid calories, alcohol, sugars, simple carbohydrates, um, packed food, uh, so food that are excess in salt. Okay, these are the strict no's in a diet. Any more questions? I would like to know what is best for breakfast to lose weight. Okay. See, one is that uh, first of all, I should know what you have for breakfast. Suppose I alter your breakfast completely, then it's a problem. So, for example, if you are a South Indian, you're used to eating idlis or dosas or whatever, you can keep it the same, but eat only how much you require. Many a times you just eat because you're eating. You've been eating 4 idlis, you feel that's fine, and you just keep eating those 4 idlis. At least get a negative caloric effect. So instead of four, you can have maybe two or three to first go with, and then maybe two, and so on and so forth. Also, you can make idlis or dosas or whatever, as I told you, out of red rice. Okay. I hope I've answered your question. How is pink salt and water for detox? Yeah, see, water, as Ayurvedic doctor or even otherwise, warm water is always good because it brings about a little bit of heat in the body, and it declogs the channels. Pink salt is basically a potassium salt. It does not have too much of sodium, so pink salt is good. But I really don't know the detoxifying effect of pink salt. Okay. Yes, Bhavna. How can we replace liquid diet with solid food? No, no, I'm not asking you to replace liquid diet with solid food. I'm just telling you that count those liquid calories. Many a times, what happens is we feel that only solid food is that food that is giving calories to your body. It's not so, right? So, having the right liquid diet, like having buttermilk or having a clear vegetable soup, is something that you can have in your diet. But liquid diet, as in just having a Coke, okay, or having some sugar syrup, some sugary drink, that is a strict no. Okay, Bhavna, I hope I've answered your question. Yeah, Lata, can we switch over to wheat in the night? Okay. See, I'll tell you what, wheat is a little heavy to digest. So if you're the one who is not been having wheat all these years, suddenly to switch over to wheat is a little difficult. So what you can do is there's something called a sama rice. I don't know what you call it. Is called. It's a millet. Uh, I'll let you know what is the name of it in English, but it is called sama in, I think, Gujarati, and it is called chama or something in Marathi. So you can switch over to that because it's a lighter form of rice and it gives you the feel of rice also. So it is not a complete change in your diet basically. So it has to basically suit your body also, right? So wheat is a little hard to digest. Slowly you can switch over to wheat also, but then eat early. Okay. Then who is that? Can I replace solid dinner with protein-based salads and fruits? Okay. Uh, See, Ayurveda doesn't allow you to have salads and fruits in dinner time. Why? Because our metabolic fire post evening or post sunset is very low, right? Now, salads and fruits are essentially high in fiber. For a for a good fibrous diet, you require a good amount of digestive fire also. So this is best eaten either during a noon time with your lunch, or the best time to eat it at around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, or maybe at 11 o'clock in the morning, whichever you feel is fine. Can we replace rice with lapsi? Yes, yes, you can. See, first of all, you should be comfortable with it. If you're see, the whole thing is about sustainability. Now, suppose you start having lapsi. Lapsi is having a little more of fiber. It's a little more heavy to digest. So there are some people who come up with a little digestive issues. So the day you start having that, you can have a little pepper, or there is something called a hingvashtak churna in Ayurveda, which corrects your digestion. So we should not have anything that brings about indigestion. So, you are trying to eat suddenly a lot of fiber, a lot of change in your diet will bring about indigestion. So that you have to take care of. Okay. Uh, I have been taking Live 52 as medication for my liver. Is Live 52 an Ayurvedic medicine? Yes, and it is good for the liver. Lata, what you're saying, how much gram of what? Of rice? See, it's not gram. You can say a small, suppose you are a sedentary person and you require, say, say a sedentary lady, you require around 1500 to 1700 calories. So if you're talking about dinner and if you're talking about rice or, that sama rice, you can have, say, around one medium-sized bowl of it. Okay. What's the best method to lose weight in terms of lifestyle and nutrition if you're a pitta kapha constitution? Oh, good question. So this is a little difficult. Why? Because pitta kapha constitution is always the one which is who is a voracious eater. Okay, so to curb your, so you have to make the right choices for food. As I told you, foods that are close to nature, food that is low in glycemic index is what you should look at. Other than that, you can have digestives such as, so you can, the first thing in the morning, probably that you get up and have a little pepper and turmeric in warm water. You can have hingvashtak churna before breakfast and before lunch so that you're able to digest your food well. Lifestyle choices are, again, see, kapha constitution is one person who is basically a very sluggish personality. So to get him or her to start working is a little difficult, but you have to encourage them slowly. So ask them their hobbies, ask them to, maybe just start walking one round of their building, or see. And one thing about walking is, always whenever a person is walking, ask them to use good walking shoes, because if you're not using the right shoes, you will cause problems to your knee joint because of your overweight, and then you come up with arthritis and things like that. So proper walking is essential. Then if that person likes to swim, you can swimming is also a good exercise. And again, kapha prakriti patients are the ones who would who would like to keep to themselves. So ask them to be a little more what you call going to, I'm not saying going and partying and eating, but maybe going and attending a few mm, I don't know, some sport which involves a lot of people. And see, because again, that is also very important. The psyche of the patient is also very important. So the people who are depressed, if you look at people who are depressed and lonely, they are the ones who hook on to eating, binge eating very, very, very often. So we have to look at so many other entities, right? Okay, I hope I've answered your question. Is there a secret to lose weight or boost immunity? Oh my God, I wish there was. There isn't, I'm sorry. How do you identify a body type? Oh, good question, Anand. So we have a questionnaire. Uh, it's not as easy as a questionnaire, but there are a few questionnaires, like a vata body type will be a lean person. He will have really tough skin, a dry skin. Um, he will be the one who will eat at times like too much, may not eat sometimes. He's a very erratic person. So this is a vata prakriti. So similarly, we have a questionnaire for which is both mental and physical attributes. So it's a whole questionnaire. I will let you know, I'll share the questionnaire with you. Is it so that when you sweat a lot, it's easier to lose weight? Yes and no, because when you are sweating, why do we ask for doing exercises, uh, say even steam? So when you sweat, there is a little rise in temperature, right? So because of that rise in temperature, your metabolism gets a little boosted. That's all. But otherwise, there is no direct connection between sweating a lot and losing weight. Okay. uh, any tips for kapha and vata constitution? So you're talking about kapha vata, or kapha separately and vata separately? See, for vata constitution, they will not come to me for weight loss. As I told you very clearly, they'll come to me with for weight gain, because it's very, see, it's still easier to lose weight, but it's very difficult for people to put on weight. If you have seen people less than 18 BMI, I have come across a few girls, a few young girls who want to put on weight, and doctor, do this, do that, and they eat. They are voracious eaters, but they still don't put on weight because of their constitution or their body type. So their metabolism is so fast and so fiery that anything that they eat is just metabolized. For kapha constitution, yes. Again, eat when hungry, eat only one third of your stomach, eat only after your previous meal is digested, have more things that are pungent uh, for the kapha constitution. Okay, so because you will be more, kapha is more sweet, they will have a sweet tooth, so you have to look at eating bitter, pungent. So you can add garlic in the diet, you can add pepper in the diet, have chilies in the diet, and so on and so forth. And again, you have to get them to do a lot of exercise, because they'll be the lazy ones. Is fasting good, or it lowers BMR, can lead to weight gain? See, fasting is not bad per se. So if you do so you have something called intermittent fasting. Even Ayurveda kind of advocates it. So for example, suppose you are the one who sleeps, say, at 10 at night. finish your food by 7 in the evening. Next day, you try to eat maybe at 11. So you have that window of 12 plus 4, 16 hours of fasting, right? So that much is enough to correct your metabolism. See, if your weight gain is very little, okay, and you just require a few things to, correct that metabolism, these things can be advocated. And as I told you, either extra kapha or ama are the ones that are clogging your channels, right? So to kind of release those channels, what you need to do is, if they are very little, if the toxins that are assimilated or accumulated in the body is not much, so just a little bit of fasting, just a little bit of but again, fasting is not in a sense where you fast for some of your dashis and things like that, because that's more of feasting, not that kind of fasting. Fasting has to be eating right again, drinking lots of warm water, maybe having only rice gruel, or a clear soup or something like that. It will help. Also, you can add ghee in that. Okay. Can contraceptives? Yes, 100%. They will make you gain weight. How do you know our food is digested to have the next meal? You will feel hungry. Until unless your food is well digested, I have had patients who have never felt hungry. I'm not joking. I keep asking them. I don't know if he has joined one of my patients. So I've always, one question that I repeatedly ask him is, have you started feeling hungry? He'll say no. So if you have to know that your food is digested, if you're hungry, it's a signal enough for you to eat, but not to feast. Again, eat. Then what is it? Uh, Ma'am, I'm having burping problems after eating noodles and maida or heavy oily food. How do I stop it? How do I stop it? You have to stop it. So, see, again, you are eating processed food, you are eating maida. These are, as I told you, these are very simple carbohydrates. So, the minute you eat it, okay, it is uh, their body is not taking any effort to metabolize it, so we don't require that energy expenditure for that. Okay, so try and not. So if you have to eat noodles, I mean, if that is the only thing that you can eat, and I say no, if you don't eat noodles, you say no, I can't eat anything else, probably then you switch over to first to wheat noodles, reduce the amount of noodles that you eat. So if you're having a whole packet of noodles, maybe with those four what you call four portions, reduce the portion, and and slowly maybe add a lot of vegetables into it. These are the few changes that you can do. Heavy oily food, see, oil per se, fat is not a I mean, fat is not a no in this. Fat, some amount of fat is required for your body, because there are some fat soluble vitamins like vitamin E and K, which you need, your body needs, because otherwise your body will be depleted of these vitamins. At the same time, you don't require excess of oil. In a day, we require around 20 grams of fat, whether it is oil, whether it is ghee, whether it is your butter, whether it is any form of fat, should be not more than 20 grams. Preferably ghee, because it is an animal product and we are more close to that, right? And it's not a vanaspati. Okay. Why is fermented food prohibited in Ayurveda? Okay. Again, good question. See, when food undergoes fermentation, acha, so this reminds me of one more thing, that never eat food that is stale. So don't cook too much of portions, so, because when you cook too much, you don't want to throw food, right? So you store it for the next day and you eat. Then that's also kind of fermentation. So when that happens, it the food becomes stale, it becomes a little more heavier to digest, and it creates toxins in the body. So that is the reason you should never reheat the food. So if you've kept food in the fridge, most of them do that. They're all working, so they cook a whole lot one day and then they use it for days to come. They remove it from the fridge, heat it, and also microwaving. It's a bigger problem, because See the temperature variation. You remove things from the fridge when it's cold and you straight put it into the microwave. These can cause even cancerous situations. Okay, Sindhu, should all nuts be soaked and then taken? Are sprouts good to eat? See, there's no hard and fast rule like nuts should be soaked. In Pitta Prakriti patients, yes, it should be soaked and deskinned and then had. Otherwise, you can just have them. You can wash them because just for the hygiene part of it. Are sprouts good to eat? Yes and no. For Vata Prakriti patients where they have more of these belching issues, uh, sprouts are not a very good meal for them. But for the others, yes, sprouts are good because the protein content is a kind of more available to the body. Okay. And okay, so I think I've answered. Okay, so you can book a personalized consultation with me. The link is shared in the chat. Okay, thank you. And I hope that all of you have understood a little about overweight and obesity, and we'll all take care from now so that our youth is not facing problems. Because when I see the children today, the amount of inactivity, the amount of wrong food, I don't blame them because the availability of food, the attractiveness of food that is there is too much. So, with this, I would like to end my session. And a very thank you to all of you for